Lesson 72 and 75, Factoring Polynomials. The first polynomial we are going to factor is x squared minus 6x minus 16. So remember that we first identify a, which is 1, it's the number in front of the x squared, b, which is negative 6, the number in front of the x, and c, which is negative 16. What we're looking for are two numbers that multiply to get negative 16, because negative 16 times 1. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to get negative 16, but add to get our b value, which is negative 6. So if I can't think of those numbers right off the top of my head, then I start listing numbers that multiply to get negative 16. 1 and 16 multiply to get positive 16. 2 and 8 and 4 and 4. Those are the only numbers. Now to multiply to get negative 16, I know that 1 needs to be negative and 1 needs to be positive. And to add to get a negative, I know that my bigger number needs to be negative. So my numbers that work are 2 and negative 8. So now I rewrite my polynomial. And so I rewrite basically that middle term, and then I split it in half and I factor each half. So out of this first half, x will come out, leaving me with x plus 2. Out of the right half, because I have a negative right here, I'm going to factor out a negative, and an 8 comes out of both of those. Negative 8x divided by negative 8 is x, and negative 16 divided by negative 8 is positive 2. I know that I've done it right because my parentheses turned out to be the same. So I have x plus 2 times x minus 8. And that is my answer. The next polynomial that we're going to factor is 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. So again, first thing to do is identify a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of x squared, which is 6. B is the coefficient of x, including the sign, which is negative 13. And c is the final term, the one without, the constant term without a variable, including the sign, so negative 5. Again, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to get whatever AC equals. So A times C is negative 30. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to get negative 30 and add to get B, which is negative 13. Again, if I don't know my numbers right off the top of my head, I just start listing numbers. And those are the only numbers that multiply to get 30. Now I start looking at the signs. Again, to multiply to get a negative, I need one of the numbers to be negative and one to be positive. To add to get negative, I need the bigger number to be negative. So the numbers that I choose are 2 and negative 15 because they add to get negative 13. So again, I rewrite my middle term with my two numbers with x's with them. Essentially, the 2x minus 15x equals the 13x from the beginning. Now I split it. What factors out of 6x squared plus 2x is 2x, leaving me with 3x plus 1. What factors out of negative 15x minus 5, because that first number is negative 5, leaving me with 3x plus 1. So now I factor the 3x plus 1 out of both parts, and that leaves me with 2x minus 5, which is my answer.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.